So my name is Trent. I'm 25 years old and I was raised right here in Thunder Bay. So my childhood was a little bit different, I guess you could say. I was born in Texas, actually, a little town in West Texas. And my mom and dad ended up getting divorced when I was young. I was about 2.5 when they got divorced, and my mom's originally from Winnipeg, so when they separated, my mom took me with her and took me away from my dad. Now, I never held any resentment to her for that because they both had their reasons. I forgive them for that, but growing up, that did impact me a little bit. I didn't realize it at first, but now I kind of see how that played a role in what unfolded. So growing up, my mom ended up remarrying when I was about, pretty immediately, when I was about maybe 3 or 4. She married somebody and I ended up growing up in the country on the outskirts of Thunder Bay. And I had a pretty normal childhood. I had a decent childhood. The household was sometimes, emotionally and mentally abusive, but for the most part, I think I had a decent childhood. So I was going back and forth from Texas. I went to Texas to see my dad once a year in the summer for about a month. And that went on from when I was about 7 or 8 till I was 13. 13 was the age my mom ended up leaving my stepdad, and she took me yet again away, and we moved into the city, and I kind of lost everything that I knew again, like my stepbrother and just my whole family. I was kind of just ripped apart, and it was at such a pivotal age where I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't even know who I was. I couldn't relate with anybody because I just felt like had a very unique situation. And 13 was also the last time I went to Texas and the last time I've ever seen my dad. Yeah, that just kind of snowballed and kind of created something where I felt like I needed to be in control of my own life from now on. I felt like I needed to be in control. So I started doing things that gave me that control. I started rebelling, kind of showing that I know what's best for me. Nobody else has ever known what's best for me, so I'm just going to do it on my own now. So I did that, and that didn't last very long. It wasn't sustainable. I had a kid when I was 17. I love her to death. Brooklyn, I love you. But we were just so young. When I was 18 or 19, I ended up moving up to Whitehorse in the Yukon. Worked there for a year, and I thought I had everything. I thought I had everything I wanted. I had a car, I had a place, I had money, I had friends, I thought. But that also wasn't sustainable because I was trying to do everything on my own. And you need people around you. You can't just do everything alone. And I was missing one vital part in this that I had no idea I was missing. So that's about the time where I was introduced to hard drugs, and my life just totally went downhill. I lost everything. I lost my place, I lost my money, my car, my girlfriend, my family, which was the most important thing to me always. And I was in and out of jail a lot. I was always committing crime, and whatever it was, I was always just in it to win it, but I was always losing. That continued on for about 5 years. It almost killed me several times. I've been in a lot of situations where I could have been shot and killed. My friends have been shot and killed. It's been a crazy road. So about a year and a half ago, when I was at that point where I lost everything, and I was starting to lose my family, I knew that I had to start making a change because I was just at the end of my rope. And I don't know, one night after a bender, and I don't know how I ended up there, but I ended up on my grandma's couch, and I woke up, I didn't know where I was. I looked over and my grandma was sitting in her chair just looking at me, and she said, "Trent, you really need help. I want to get you help." And I didn't know, but she had talked to somebody named Corey a couple days earlier, and she had set up an appointment with me for me to meet him at Tim Hortons next Tuesday. I think it was a Saturday. I just felt so much conviction in my heart for what I've done, and I just knew I was at the end of my rope. So I didn't want to. Everything in my body screamed no, but to her I said yes. And I just went Tuesday, met with Corey. He kind of explained to me what Teen Challenge is and how he was in the same spot that I was, and that if I let him, he can help me to change my life. I gave everything, and by that Saturday, I was in Teen Challenge, and it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I didn't know God, and I know now that that one vital thing that I was missing, it's really what has just kept me here. I let God in, and I've been doing nothing. I've just been putting myself in the back seat, and God is doing all the work. He's just transformed my life completely. I graduated about 3 months ago from the first year program. I'm a surge student now. I met a beautiful, godly woman who's also a surge student. I just see how God is just working so incredibly in that. And yeah, like 3 days ago actually, I was asked by Teen Challenge to move to Winkler, Manitoba, and help at the thrift store there. And I just see how God is orchestrating these things in such a beautiful fashion that I could have never even imagined. You know, I don't need to be in control anymore. I don't have those desires to be in control anymore, because I know that way doesn't work. I know that if I just give it up to God and I just put myself in the passenger seat and let God take the wheel, that He'll do all the work that needs to be done. Especially right now, going through this transitional period, I've been living in community and unity with my brothers and just kind of leaving everything behind and venturing off into this new journey. One verse that really sticks out to me is Philippians 4:6. It's, "Do not be anxious for anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known to God." So I know through this time in my life, I can't be anxious. I just have to trust God through it and just know that He has my best interests, and He will give me the desires of my heart, but first I have to be faithful in what He wants. You know, He knows everything, but He wants to hear it from you. So just relinquish control and just let God take the wheel, and He'll do amazing things. Yeah, that's my story. Thanks.